The School of Shamanism, Master Tatankananda, returning to the earth a person at a time.
There lives a young maiden whose voice makes makes the animals sing.
You are listening to Master Tatankananda, and this is the podcast of the School of Shamanism, theschoolofshamanism.com, www.theschoolofshamanism.com. In the preceding podcast, I've explained the time film theory. I've explained why the time film theory makes more sense than the alien invasion theory, because the aliens would have had no reason to go away when they were living the life of Riley, holding the entire human race in thraldom. The time film entity makes a lot more sense than the alien intrusion theory. But today I want to talk about how we can actually intentionally create time film entities that are benign and that are more than happy to make intercession with us, or to make some sort of activity on our behalf, benign activity on our behalf, as it should be as we cooperate with the energies of Mother Earth. And that is what spirituality is. Spirituality is the ability to interact with the energies that are present on this planet. We don't have to go anywhere past Earth to find what we need for a deeply meaningful spiritual life. We do not have to look to the heavens. We do not have to worry about heaven and hell. We do not have to worry about placating violent gods that are dripping with blood. We don't have to do that. Instead, we can find those places where time film entities are already present, but are very, very benign and can be very, very helpful. How do we do this? Well, remember how I explained how gods, so-called gods, evolve, how they evolve from the time film. I told you at the very beginning that shocking events, violent events, overexpose the time film. And once that is fed with violent acts and the belief of violence and the fear of people, that it can become a self-guided entity that have been known to be the gods. And I said at the beginning that kindly things, benevolent things, loving things, wonder, these leave less of a trace on the time film. I don't know why that is, but in high concentrations it can actually create a god or goddess that is benign and trying to be on our side and cooperating with human beings who are the children of the earth to begin with. The way to do this is to collect where these entities are already forming. At wells, in beautiful glens, in places where beauty has been admired by many, many millions of people over the years. We go to those places and add our own reverence, add our own sacrifices of our adoration of the values that the time film exposure at that point, at that place, embody, to leave gifts, to do what we can to do good things to overexpose the time film. It takes longer, but it's worth it. If we continue to go to the same well, to go to the same vista, to go to the same monuments, to go to the same places where benign things have happened, if we can totally give over our own energy to concentration on these benign places of manifestation, then we can cause the entity to become denser than the time film, and it really can arise. It really can arise until such time as we will have functioning, benign gods and goddesses that can truly manifest on this plane of existence. Without violence, in fact, promoting peace and promoting cooperation with the earth and promoting cooperation with each other. We don't need the mean desert gods of the Mideast We don't need the mean gods that demand human sacrifices of South America. We don't need the gods that demand this. The Hawaiian people were told by James Michener in his book Hawaii. We are told that the people of Tahiti were tired of the new god that had arisen that demanded human sacrifice and blood, because that's the quickest way to make a god. The quickest way to make a god is with violent outbursts of energy at the same local place of where you want the entity to manifest. And so the Hawaiian people in Tahiti got tired of their peaceful god being overthrown by a violent god, and that they left those islands to come to Hawaii, where they could worship their gods and goddesses, which were kindly and understanding and fed the people with mana, that fed the people with great energy to live their lives in harmony with the earth. This mana is very important. It can either be violent or it could be benign, but it is existence. It does exist. So when people get together at a beautiful well, for instance, and admire the well and make offerings to the well, and contemplate how many generations of people have counted on the well, then the time film is exposed to the point that it can manifest the god or goddess of the well, that really can do things on this plane and intercede and interact with human beings in order to make this world a better place, a peaceful place. The mean gods that rely on death and violence have got to be ignored. The more we ignore them, the more they will go away. The more we ignore them, the more they will go away. And that's how we do it. The reason why we gather at places like wells and beautiful sites and the fields where corn arises, anytime that we can give good energy and lots of it to a site, a place, a memory, a time, then we can create time film entities that can arise that will benefit us. Generally, the closer we remember the seasons of the earth, the closer that we have festivals regarding the things of the earth, the more that we can put our energy and our love and our affection into the earth, and especially at certain places like monuments and wells and beautiful vistas and fields and things that benefit mankind, the ocean itself, the sun, the moon, everything that has to do with the earth, the more that we can coalesce the positive, loving energy that the earth is expending to us, the faster that we can create time film entities that will benefit us and will be able to come to a manifestation state so that we can see them, talk to them, and find out from them things we can't find any other way. How? Because the time film is constantly running. And so everything that has happened in history is somehow connected to the time film. Everything that has happened from the beginning of whatever the reality is that we experience to the possible end of the reality we experience is kept on the time film. So when a time film entity arises, it is connected to the time film and can talk about past, present, and future. And this is where we should put our mind. We should start studying immediately earth-based spirituality. What is that? Earth-based spirituality is learning how to cooperate with the energies of the earth, including the time film, so that we can work in cooperation with the earth rather than at the destruction of the earth. The angry gods of the Mideast, the angry gods that have arisen over time in South America and elsewhere, they have come and they have gone and left blood and misery and terror and superstition in their wake. Earth-based spirituality does no such thing. There is a spirituality that is born from accepting, loving, and embracing the earth. And this is what I am calling for, is to cooperate with the earth and her energies and be able to manifest a better life for everyone here on this earth by the participation of time film entities that are benign and not violent. You're listening to Master Tatankananda, and research it. Research places like Stonehenge. Research places that will cause you to be in awe and amazement, and find out if people are causing those places to be sacred. As sacred means to have a place where people know they can go to put the right input of energy into the time film at that place so that a time film entity will emerge. This is how it was done. Unfortunately, the violent gods, the gods that demanded blood, gore, death, and terror, they have, over the centuries, been more so-called popular because they show up quicker and they can act and manifest quicker than the benevolent gods that are and entities that demand that really require beneficial, quiet, and wonderful energy to cause a good thing to happen. And sometimes there's some crossovers. Like St. Mary at Lourdes. She made this, that everybody was there hoping to get healed at this particular spring. And finally, the little girls saw the time film entity take on a life of its own, and because of their cultural context, thought it was the Virgin Mary. Their context caused it to be the Virgin Mary. What they experienced was a benevolent time film entity that took on a life of its own and manifested itself to a couple children who were able to describe what the time film entity had to say. We can learn a lot from time film entities, but we certainly don't need the harsh killer ones. We don't need the violent ones. We don't need the ones that are demanding violence and hatred and discord, which causes their time film exposure to get more over and over exposed. Instead, we can make an intentional determination to do what we can to feed and to admire the time film at places where sacred places that have been declared a place to come and put your energy so that we can encourage the birth of time film entities that will be on our side. Isn't that a thought all by itself? You're listening to Master Tatankananda. This is the podcast of the School of Shamanism. Please look in the show notes to see the attributions for the music, because we totally endorse the people who sing these beautiful songs, and I hope that you will follow the links and be able to find that music for yourself. Again, this is Master Tatankananda, Master T at theschoolofshamanism.com. Be sure and subscribe. That throws energy our way, and then we can continue to put out this kind of information both on the podcast and on the web, www.theschoolofshamanism.com, where I will be soon making available shamanic journeys that can make your life a better place. See you next time. This is Master Tatankananda for the School of Shamanism.
Take a look at your TV screen. It's a window bright and clean. Another wife gone by. But sit with me on this hill, see how things become so still. And who is that lady riding high? Do you dream of drinking from the grail, that the truth is held within a tale, and Arthur sleeps now, ready to return? Do you know that Jack lives in the green, that things are never as they seem, and life is more than the money that you earn? Spring has come, have you seen those Morris dancers on the green? It's just a bit of fun to pass the days. But there is magic in their dance. The season's blessed and not by chance, and I raise my glass to pagan ways. Do you dream of drinking from the grail, that the truth is held within a tale, and Arthur sleeps now, ready to return? Do you know that Jack lives in the green, that things are never as they seem, and life is more than the money that you earn? Do you dream of drinking from the grail, that the truth is held within a tale, and Arthur sleeps now, ready to return?
The School of Shamanism, Master Tatankananda, returning to the earth a person at a time.